hello, and a very, very warm welcome back to our Home Ed Adventures UK. I am here in sunny Kent. My lovely husband took me away for a well-needed rest, guys. I'm so sorry. I know I missed my 2-week upload 2 weeks ago. Honestly, time just seems to be flying at the moment, and literally the past few weeks we've been dealing with seasonal sickness in our home. That's cold, flu, whatever it is that's going around, chesty coughs, and sometimes sickness, diarrhea, and it's a family of 5, so we do emphasize sharing is caring in our house, and that includes sickness sometimes. So we've just been healing and going through the motions of that on top of the usual stuff that we have to do. So I'm sorry, the videos did take a bit of a backburn, and we're only coming through the last stages of that sickness now. My husband's so sweet, he booked time for us. We're on our break week for classical conversations this week, so he booked that because, to be honest, the last 3 weeks have been just a whirlwind, just a lot of work, a lot of pressure, just trying to get back into the full swing of things as well, with the children's activities opening back up, trips and plans and stuff. I think there's seasons, right? So our bodies are coming out of summer, where it's a bit more relaxed, a bit warmer, and now we're just pat the summer clothes away, the winter clothes are out, you're getting back in your routine, we're getting back in our routines. Term time activities are back on, so they're music, ice skating, swimming, so it's just getting back into the swing, and I think the body is also catching up. But as the title of this video says, and what's been really weighing on my heart, and what I've been dealing with as well in my home, and what I've been hearing from other people or been asked about from other people, what do we do when our children don't want to learn, or I don't want to say don't want to, or reluctant to do maybe our version of learning, right? So I'm talking about when it's time to sit down, it's time to do your work, okay? What do we do when they simply don't want to, or resistant to it? Well, I'd say breathe first, breathe and pray and say, God help me, give me wisdom, because I think what I've learned with my children is never to just jump the gun. Always, I like to ask why. Okay, why are we saying this? What's going on? It could just be a case of I need to go to the toilet, I'm hungry, or it could be I'm struggling, I don't like it, I don't understand it. So then once you know the issue, it's like, okay, let's solve the problem. If they're struggling, how can I help you? Would you like to do it a different way? Would you like to do it somewhere else? Especially since reading the 8 smarts of home education, homeschool, American term, but home ed UK. I've been learning that when, say for example, when my youngest is struggling reading or doing something, I get them to move. I'm like, okay, let's do star jumps and read it. So lately my youngest has been doing her toe-to-toe, her reading activities on her head, literally. Who used to do this on the sofa when they were young, like turn on your head and your legs are behind you on the wall? That's what she's been doing, and it's working, and I'm fine with that. If that helps her, I'm not gonna resist her natural way of learning. With my son, I'm like, okay, jump on the spot, run on the spot, and I've noticed the difference with that. So help them. Also, I do, for example, there was a day the sun was out, a rare autumn sunny day, and all of a sudden, one by one, they crept out into the garden while I was helping one of them, and then gradually they all went out, and I just followed. Secretly, the aim was to come back in and do work, right? But then when I went outside, what they'd done is collected snails and made like a terrarium for them, like, so they put, fruits and veg, grass and plants in there, and they were observing the snails in this old fish tank we have in the garden. And now I don't want to get rid of it because I've found that they're using it for science observations. So it was really cool, and actually I had to stop myself and say, this is learning. And they were really engrossed in it. They were really observing every detail and looking at all the parts of this snail that you wouldn't really be able to get that up close to through the glass. And I just was amazed that actually sometimes you have to just accept and appreciate these breaks in the work, because actually sometimes I find my children come up with better ideas than I can in what is learning. And it's okay to go on tangents, because if they're really into something as well, they're going to really take that in. And because we're in classical conversations at the moment, the emphasis is nature. So for me, that went really well with our curriculum. And just because we were doing, I think it was maths at the time, just because we were doing maths doesn't mean that we can't accommodate and appreciate a little break to actually do something that was fun to them but educational at the same time. And they could layer their learning of what they're learning in the nature cycle about, the anatomy of a snail and how they move. And it was actually, do you know what, in the end I ended up also being engrossed in just observing these snails, because I've never been that close, and I didn't realize the way they move and how, the grip, it like literally slides up like this. And yeah, it was as one was trying to escape. So it was really interesting. And you've got to lean towards what they want as well, like help them to start being independent in their learning. So I like to take stock at least every term, so that's about 6 weeks, 2 months. I say, what are you interested in? What do you like to learn? Because I find that when they're interested in something, they're more inclined to do it. So for example, my son, he loves Lego. Actually, they all like Lego, so I try to incorporate Lego into their work. I've seen it work a lot, work well with children that like cars. So if you just use what they're interested in, and there are times that we just have to do the work, like we just have to get through something, and it also, I believe, produces character and understanding. There's not everything we're going to enjoy, but we can make it enjoyable, as enjoyable as we can, or we can incorporate different methods to do it. So because even us as adults, we don't like everything, and sometimes when I have hard tasks to do, I would choose to do it in a cafe, or somewhere away from my environment my usual environment where I can concentrate. So sometimes I like, especially during winter when it's colder, I like to take the children to the library, because there it's it's nice and warm, it's nice and quiet, and it's like a focused place for learning. And then they love to read the books after. Or in the summer we like to do our work in the park, or so I do. And I like to be very careful about what my expectations are for them and their concentration times. So it's been proven that children around 5, 6, so my youngest, literally the attention span under 10 minutes. Right. So when she starts fidgeting around 5, 6 minutes, I don't expect her to sit there for half an hour even, or an hour. No way. I'm like, right, go get your worms out, get your energy out, come back when you're ready. That's literally what she does. And then even with my son, it's the same thing. He's 9. Again, I think the 9-year-old attention span, especially for him, is around 10-12 minutes. So don't set them up to fail, and just have realistic expectations. Even my oldest, she her work, we have to do it, there's certain tasks that she has to complete, but it doesn't all have to happen at one time, and we can break it up. And what I like to do, even at classical conversations when we're learning different things together, I do like to break things up. So standing up, sitting down, not setting them up to fail and bombarding them, and trying to have different flow, not have everything just sitting down. And that's why I love the classical model of where you're singing, where you're reciting, where you can act things out and use your whole body and make it really immersive. I do like to arrange trips. So for instance, I'm really excited. Tomorrow we're going to go to the Michelangelo and Da Vinci immersive. It's a production that is happening, and I've got really good tickets, and I'm so excited because we're learning about ancient artists this year, and they are the quintessential classical. Some of the examples that I use of, because they weren't just artists, they were inventors, they were scientists, and we really are training our children to see cohesion between the subjects. Like we don't separate them. They actually intertwine together. Everything works together to show us, to point us to the creator, to God. And those Michelangelo and Da Vinci, they did amazing things, not just in the art world but in the invention world. And I just I'm looking forward to delving deeper in a really fun, immersive way, creative way. It's set as a production by a guy he's going to use like 3D. And I never got to go to the immersive Van Gogh experience in London. I don't know if some of you have, the art exhibitions. We just missed the opportunity, and I really was sad about it. So this is something that excites me a lot, because I really am all about layering our learning. And I think we have to re-evaluate what is learning, because a lot of us who were public schooled, we've been conditioned that learning is sitting at a desk for so many hours a day, being bombarded with information, then you take a test. And that's what kind of, what is the product of that learning? Is it just recitation and taking tests to regurgitate what you put in, and not necessarily what you understand, what you've actually learned, and the skill of learning? And the thing is, I want my children, the whole point of the classical model, and I just read that this morning from Echoes in Celebration by Lee Bortins, and Dorothy Sayers, who she references a lot, who's British, she said, we need to teach the skill of learning. That's more important than receiving information, facts, right? So, and that's what we're doing. And the whole purpose is, okay, how to learn, like, not, okay, you need to learn this, you need to tick off the boxes. It's like, sometimes you're going to need to allow breaks for natural learning. Okay, so for example, and I read this the other day, and it really did get me. It was like, is it more important that you tick off the maths activities, or that you deal with the attitude if the child did it, with a bad attitude or had a bad attitude? Like, what do you do? What's more important? And it's allowing for those natural learning opportunities while you're in it. So guys, honestly, I know the pressure. I know the pressure we have, and we need to get it done. We need to tick it off. And especially if you're home educating a number of children, I've definitely, this child needs to do this and this and this. And this is why I don't understand how they teach 30 children average in a classroom. I barely, trying to do the 3 I have is like, wow, how do they split themselves so thinly? But, and give them that attention. But it is just being more mindful that what is the purpose of this. And remember as well, the beauty of home education is that we don't have to follow the school timetable. Like, we have a whole year we have all the time. Like, we don't need to fit into anyone else's boxes. And actually, because my if I'm busy in the week, and I prioritize going on trips and stuff, so I'll make up time on Saturday, and or even like Sunday they can do a bit of their work or practice, music practice and stuff. So it's, don't feel pressured that you have to do everything Monday to Friday, the school hours. No, we don't. We've got evening times, we've got, and actually I like this idea that I got from Homeschooling from Rest, and about rolling subjects. So I no longer feel pressured, I need to do this in a week. It's like, no, we'll do it until it's done. And actually I was speaking to one of my friends about, that's how now I read the Bible through the year, which it takes longer than a year, but I don't concentrate on the dates anymore. I just keep doing it until it's done. And that's how you get done. Like, I think we're sometimes so constricted by time. Like, we feel like you need to do it in these amount of weeks, and these, for example, classical conversations, 24 weeks over the year, and we feel pressure. Oh, we need to do all the 24 weeks in 24 weeks. Well, no, we can. For example, I'm going to do some catch up this week. We're just finished week 3, and I will quickly go over week 1 and 2 to catch up to week 4, because I haven't done everything that I wanted to do week by week. And that's life. Life happens. Like I said, we've been sick, busy. Well, life does happen, and I think if you pressure yourself too much, you can get demoralized, they can get demoralized, and then it just becomes a drain and a drag, and instead of being a joy and a gift and a pleasure to cultivating a love of learning. And then, guys, seriously, just praying about it, because I noticed that when my children were struggling and when they really didn't want to do it, especially my eldest, because she's quite, she's quite assertive, she's quite type A, she actually loves to learn, but I noticed when she resists it, it's because actually she's finding it hard, and she doesn't really want to admit it sometimes, or she doesn't want to ask for help. And I have to be wise and calm, and sometimes I just pray, and God will help you. And I say, do you need help? Is like, or praying together. Oh my goodness, guys, this is the beauty of home ed, right? And this testimony will always stay with me, and it stays with my daughter because she still does it today. And we always start with prayer, because I really do emphasize to my children, God first, everything follows. Because if God is first, nothing else, he's the most important thing, right? God first, Bible time first, prayer first, and then we do our work. And one day she was really struggling with her maths, and she was crying. I was nearly crying. I was getting frustrated. She was getting frustrated. And also, that's another point. Let's remember that we didn't always know what we know, right? So when we're getting frustrated, we were at that place before. So we need to have grace as well, and patience. And a lot of times I'm praying under my breath. They don't know. I'm like, God, not like that. But silently, I'm like, and breathing, like, when they're struggling over the word dad, or I'm like, oh. But I'm like, yay, well done, because they will get this. The compound effect, it will pay off. The diligence will pay off as we just keep honoring God, like keep doing hard things. And I love it when they overcome their challenges. Anyway, she's crying, I'm nearly crying. I'm like, okay, let's pray. And at that point, one of our scriptures that we were focusing on was from Jeremiah. Lord, show me things that I cannot see with my flesh. Lord, show me great and wonderful things from your world that I cannot see with my flesh. And we prayed, and then it was, it helped calm us down, and then it was like, we was getting a bit tense again. So then she said, Mum, can I just go to the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, go and wipe the tears. So she went to the bathroom, and she came back, and she sat down, and then she did it. She got through it. and she turned to me and she was like, Mum, I prayed in the bathroom and God helped me, da, 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 da. And you know what, right there I realised that is more important than the maths. To know that she learnt that day that she can pray and God will help her. And it just stopped me in my tracks, because I'm like, actually, what is the point here? The point is that they will know God's first, and then everything will follow. So we really have to turn things on our head, guys, on its head, because we're not of this world. We're not doing what the world is doing. It's not just for accolades. It's not just for success in education. It is really to put God first. Delight yourself in the Lord. Everything will follow. And I think that's the main thing, guys. If you're struggling right now, just pray. Ask God for wisdom. Only He knows your child best. He knows the best way to help your child. Your child might be struggling with something that you don't realise. Like when my son, I noticed that he was struggling. I was like, oh Lord, what's going on here? And then God revealed to me that actually, yes, he has dyslexic traits. And then other people started to confirm it to me. So that was the answer to prayer. So what could I do? I could then help him where he needed help. And now he's flourishing, because I have this really strong sense that when a child is struggling with something, it's not the child's fault. It's not the child's problem. It's not the child's fault. It's us. We need to change our teaching, our perspective, pray, ask for wisdom in how to help that particular child, because not every child is going to learn the same. So the main thing, guys, is you're going to pray. You're going to ask God. He's going to help you, because he cares about your child more than you, and he knows your child more than you. And that's the main thing. That is what's kept me going, for my sanity, for their sanity. And you know what, guys, sometimes it's okay to take a break. It's okay to say, we're going for a walk, we're going to get baby chinos from Costa Coffee. I love that. Get your scooters, get your skates, exert the energy. Let's all go for a walk. Let's all get some vitamin D, especially now when it's less available. If it's sunny, go and enjoy some vitamin D. Go to the park. Maths, English, they can wait. They'll be there when you get back. They'll be there. You can do it before bed or instead. But I'd say try not to fight it so much. Try not to drag the joy out of learning. I mean, we can't expect from our children what we don't even really expect from ourselves. And I say that because there's certain tasks I hate doing. I realise I'm not an admin person. As you could probably tell, I like talking, I like sharing information, I like teaching. But when it comes to sitting down and doing a spreadsheet, it takes everything in me, literally. I'm like, Lord, help me, please. And I put it off. I drag my feet, and I'm like, all right, Lord, help me, please. And I have to have certain conditions, certain music going, certain focus times, my certain seat on the couch, certain light under a certain lamp to help me focus. And I don't always run to do it. And that's our children as well. And sometimes you're just tired, or you're not feeling good, or you're hungry. Let's just realize we're not constrained to a set time or a set way or a set place even. That's the beauty of home education. We are free. Who the sun sets free is free indeed. We can do it when we want to, where we want to, and with God's help and God's wisdom, and when it is and that's what I like to do now. I like to keep more of a looser schedule. I try to do the whole hour by hour. Forget it. Life happens. Someone calls, an emergency comes up, you need to run your 6-year-old to the dentist because she's teething. She's my little one's her back teeth are coming through, and we had to go to the dentist. And imagine if I had that schedule, it's so rigid, and there's no leeway there, and it's like, oh, we can't go for that impromptu trip with the nice weather to the park because we have to do history right now. Well, I can take history to the park. Do you know what I mean? It's, guys, enjoy the freedom, enjoy it. We are so blessed. It is a gift. We've been given a gift, And I feel like God wants to free us from our constricted mindsets of a system that has tried to box us and put us every minute minute detail. There are times for that, and we've, you know, thank God, but thank God that's not our whole life. You know, if God has led you out of that, enjoy it. This is the beauty. That's a reason. You know, my husband, he's so inspirational. He works for himself, he's his own boss, he has his own business, but he's very disciplined. And he, you know, when I try, and trust me, I'm a bit naughty, I try, do you want to come here with us, and do you want to come there? And you know, but the beauty is, a lot of the time, and I'm used to it now, he'll say, no babe, I need to work. And I'm like, actually I appreciate that, because we need to eat, because if you don't work you don't eat. That's biblical. So I say, okay, thank you, you enjoy work, we'll miss you. But then there are times when I'm like, no babe, you haven't taken time off lately, or you know, he has freedom to say, actually I can take a day off, I am, you know, my boss, God says I can, and he has freedom to do that as well. Or if an emergency comes up and I need him to watch the kids, or like the other day when I wasn't too well and I needed to rest, and he was with the kids. And you know, that there's, guys, we're so privileged, you know, and so let's enjoy them with wisdom. But I'd say usually when the child is struggling and resistant, there are reasons, and the best way you can do that, get through that, is to pray about it first and through it, and talk to the child and find out, maybe is your teaching style maybe not helpful to them, and what would be better for them. That's the beauty, again, you can tailor it to that child. That's the beauty of home ed. So God bless you, and I pray, honestly, I pray that you would just love learning, find the best ways for your child. And ultimately, I really feel led to finish this off by saying, guys, a lot of it is character building more than ticking off exercises and learning subjects. Actually, God's more interested in our characters, in our faith building, and then all that, the rest of that will follow. So actually, what can you learn in this trial, in this hard time? Because I know it's hard, it's frustrating, but even that, then God's has challenged me. Well, why are you frustrated? Why are you not patient? Why, you know? And actually, who are you trying to impress? Who am I trying to impress? So let's impress God, and God bless you this autumn. I'm so sorry, guys. I will promise I'll try. No, I'm not even going to try. I need to be more consistent. But, you know, even that's life. You know, things happen. Yeah, we're not robots. We're humans. And actually, sometimes you just need to know the season, and if the season is that you need to look after your babies and nurse them and your family, then you've got to do that, and that comes first. So I love you guys, and God bless your home ed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. God bless you. Bye.